solution. I cling to memories while falling. Sleep brings release and the hope of a new day.
All right. I guess we're just going to have to introduce ourselves
Yeah.
like we usually did, because we
Yep.
tried something else last time, but I don't think it's going to work out as easily. I guess sometimes we actually do capture lightning in a bottle. And
Sometimes
we
it's
take
more
it for
like
granted.
a fart in a bottle.
I suppose so, you could put it that way, but I think we take it for granted, whatever it is, and don't necessarily appreciate how easy it might be to get rolling again.
That's
but I
right.
think
Yeah.
we're probably there about now.
Yep.
I think we're
Yep.
there now, yeah?
Yeah.
So we're back again, and it's a Tuesday evening that we're recording, and we're releasing maybe on a Wednesday like usual.
Yep.
Thanks to our Thursday night permanent Thursday night games in this season. So Wednesday night is footy media night as far as we're all concerned.
Yep.
And yeah, so back with another episode, another special episode. So we got someone in the studio today.
A very special
Peoples.
guest.
First of all, I'm the Salt Man. You know who I am, and
Yep.
and you know this guy over here. This guy
People's
whose
Champion.
name is the People's Champion, which needs to be constantly reminded that that's a title that's been bestowed upon him, and not necessarily earned or.
Well, hang on. It was bestowed upon me by the people, and you're always trying to, remove it. And
It's
it's
a
not
property
it's not
of-
one person's decision, Ned.
it's a property of Salty and the Champ Productions, of which I am proprietor.
I think the Rock might have something to say about that.
Well, yeah. We'll see how we go there.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah, and we got our old mate Buttons back on the buttons.
Mr.
See,
That was
the preview of our guest. That's all right.
I thought it was old mate Bukes
He's a
because
bit
he's
hot on the
also
buttons.
here. Oh, hot on the
He is,
buttons.
yeah. You know Bugie's here. I think you might have heard him before, but we'll show him on screen now. Bugs, welcome, buddy.
Hello, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. It's
Go Bombers.
yeah, go Bombers. That's it. It's 3 Bombers on 1 Hawks tonight, so that's the kind of balance that I like around here.
It's probably that's what it'd take for you to win too.
Not bad from him. Yeah, thanks for coming in, Bob. You're one of our big fans, I guess. You're one of the Whoppers' big contributors. You're
One of
a
the
knowledgeable,
OGs.
yeah, an OG, a very knowledgeable footy boy. You know a lot about not only the Bombers but the game at large. And we're gonna tonight we're gonna sort of, I guess you could say, probe some of that knowledge.
Yeah. Not
yeah.
to probe you, just knowledge.
Yeah, you don't have to worry too much, my friend. But so I guess we should start with him. You know, we should get stuck into the Bug, as he's lovingly known, and just sort of find out a little bit about him, his relationship to footy, his history with the game, with the club, and everything else. Sort of, in that wheelhouse. So why don't we go over to Bowlby and start talking about your history of being an Essendon supporter. That's what we ask, our guests. We asked Herb when we had him on. We asked Sam and Joe, all our guests so far. So I think that's a traditional sort of way to start with them.
I think so. Yeah.
So Bowlby, how did you come to love the Bombers?
It was 93.
Really?
Baby Bombers, really. I
Yep.
wasn't into footy till, what was that, like year 3. Which is, 93. And had some Carlton supporting mates and Essendon supporting mates. And
Yep.
kind of jokingly said I'd go for whoever won the granny.
Right. Okay.
And then probably like 94, 95, I started going to footy with Mum's best mate, who was he's a mad Essendon supporter. Mm-hmm. And then I was pretty enough from like probably 15 to like 20s. And then, your 20s are full of partying.
Sure.
So you would have supported
So I've
Carlton if they
Nah,
won the
no
grand
chance.
final.
It wasn't a serious thing. But I've always thought about that and thought, like,
What could have been?
yeah, but I don't think I would have stuck
doors,
with
like,
it.
what's his face? Purple.
Gwyneth
Yeah.
Sliding doors.
Um,
Gwyneth Paltrow movie. Yeah.
No, I think the Dons was always there.
Yeah, oh,
Which,
sure.
you know.
I mean, you lived in the thick of it. You lived a couple of streets away from Windy Hill, basically.
Yeah, Fletch,
So-
a few Fletch torps, and
Yep.
you're there.
That's it. Yeah. So 93. So we go back. We can trace your love of the club back to that very special year. So you're famously in our group. You have a mother who is a very, very dyed-in-the-wool, strong, I was going to say Hawthorn, Collingwood supporter.
It's true.
How was it? Did you ever clash with your mum growing up in terms of following a club? Because obviously we've got some rivalry there with Collingwood. Not that it gets much of a look in around here, because it's all about Hawthorn versus Bombers. But Collingwood's not necessarily one of our favourites either. So what's it like having a mum that goes for Hawthorn? I keep saying it. A mum who goes for Collingwood.
Yeah, you've got a Hawthorn on the brain.
Hawthorn.
Rent free.
Yeah,
Rent
I
free.
suppose so.
Yeah, it's all right. I think she accepted that, it made the most logical sense. Because, they didn't know, Windy Hill was going to stop being a ground. And she's like, oh, fair enough. He'll go
I'm
to
prejudiced.
Essendon games with his mates.
Yeah.
And, it's always been surprisingly chill.
That's good. Not full of animosity then?
Nah, not really.
Not when on those Anzac days when one of the two clubs has been annihilated. You still get your dinner. She's still happy to serve you dinner. Not sending you to bed hungry. That's good.
No.
Yeah, good one. Brilliant. So, I mean, you feel pretty sort of at home, I suppose, with the Bombers. You've got a sister who goes for the Bombers as well. Same deal with Callie.
It's true. A lot of us Whoppers were Bombers.
And did Callie have the
oriented.
same sort of inclination at around the same time to follow the Dons?
No, I
was
mean, Cal and I, so our nan influenced us a lot with going for the Dons, I think, too. Because
Okay.
she was a mad Essendon fan in amongst everyone else, like Pop and all my uncles and aunties were Collingwood.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she used to, knit us Essendon beanies. I think Cal's
That's
still
nice.
got a jumper.
Oh, really?
Or some beanies or something that she knitted us. But Cal kind of, she would come to the occasional game, and she wasn't really into footy. She more got into footy probably late 20s, early 30s.
Okay, right. There you go.
Or when we became members, it was like, all right, well, guess I'll start going. And she
Got to
started
start paying
coming.
attention. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, right on. And I think another thing in your family that deserves a mention is old man Greggles, who used to
Yeah.
go for Fitzroy,
Yeah. And,
and his club was taken away from him. What was that? What did that do to your old man?
he's, I don't know. I like to give him shit and say he's a Collingwood fan because he just kind of got a bit bitter and was hating the AFL.
Yeah.
Sound
Sounds like
it's
someone we
fucked.
know, eh, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say
Sounds
Tom.
like a good bloke.
No, he should get along. He's got some ridiculous opinions on cricket. It would be quite funny.
Do you reckon
I think.
Greg will do the podcast one day?
God. I mean, he's bored. He needs something to do in retirement.
He'd oblige. I reckon he's a good guy.
Yeah.
So do you remember? Because that's actually an interesting topic. I don't really know any Fitzroy supporters. They're all gone basically. So yeah, mid '90s. Your old man. Do you remember the mood around the house when the club was on its last legs?
I was pretty young.
Try. Think.
I don't know. I mean, I felt sorry for Fitzroy. I think we all did.
Sure. Yeah. Just wondering
it's,
from a personal level though, your dad, was he a huge Fitzroy fan or just sort of
he was a fan. I wouldn't say he was a huge fan.
okay, right. So it wasn't was he devastated or not?
I mean, any fan would be devastated.
You would be. You'd be
Like,
Devo.
Yeah. I'm just wondering how much he cared about the club. I suppose that's what I'm getting at. Because that would be sort of unthinkable in a sense, like your club just ceasing to exist, or I suppose merging. But
It wasn't much of a
Fitzroy ceased
merger
to
though.
exist.
Like bloody Brisbane picked the best half dozen players, and
It's more of
Like,
an absorption.
amalgamation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
like now it's better. Now at least Brisbane play in the old Fitzroy colours.
Mm-hmm. They still honour their somewhat heritage, I suppose you could say.
True,
Right?
but you could have done it better.
Yeah.
If you gave them, for their first 10, 15 years when they merged, they had say 2 or 3 home games in Victoria.
Yep.
like something like that, or renovate the shit out of Brunswick Street Oval, like
Yeah.
you know, make it their Melbourne training base. Like they just kind of was like, oh yeah, fuck you, Fitzroy. We'll pick.
Well, I think that was the whole point. Like the AFL boosts up Brisbane and basically pretends Fitzroy didn't exist.
Yeah, that was in the midst of the national sort of
the
push of the
expansion.
league. It's just after. I mean, yeah, I suppose it's particularly heinous. And that's a cue for a particular sound effect. Yeah, I put him on the.
I nearly
dropped it, so there we go.
I've read about their demise once. It was, sad and interesting. Basically, like, they were one of the smaller clubs, but so were North, so were, Melbourne, even though they had rich supporters, Saints, like heaps of clubs nearly went broke. But what, like, really screwed them, apparently, is they didn't have a home ground.
Yeah, right.
Like, everyone had, Windy Hill or whatever. So you'd make money, like the VFL would set the price, apparently, but you'd get all the revenue from, drinks and food and everything else. It was
Yeah.
guaranteed minimum 12 to 20,000 people, like, depending who you're playing there. And they didn't have that. They used to, play at Princess Park or, I don't know.
Jurassic
they played at Moorabbin.
They played
Yeah.
in Footscray as well, I think.
Yeah, they
yeah.
did for a bit. But, like, the other clubs were just like, you can play here, but just, give us a little
Give us
bit
the,
off the
cut.
side.
Yeah, we can't
Plus,
take
it's
all
all
the
the
good-
advertising and shit, too, that, like, whoever owns the ground gets all that shit.
I feel like if they could have held on for another 5 years or so, they probably would have been safe because come back around by 2000 or so, all the expansion until like the further expansion like GWS and Gold Coast, but who was the last? Port Adelaide was the last club to come in before the new expansion. So if they got to another 5 years down the track, perhaps they could have found some more support from
possibly.
head
I mean,
office.
they needed a Russell Crowe, like the NRL had. The
Save the
Rabbitohs,
Rabbitohs, didn't he? Yeah.
like got kicked out for a year, and he was like,
30 odd
"Nah."
footer grunt might have done a
Yeah.
promo or two for them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, look, I tell you, that's probably a good. Talking about Fitzroy, we might bring up one of their former sons, Ross Lyon, and another coach, Brad Scott, our coach. Some recently renewed contracts.
Did you say Ross Lyon was a former?
He
Who'd he play for?
He played for Fitzroy,
Oh, there you go.
didn't
And
he?
did he
Brad's got
play
played-
for Hawthorn as well?
Don't
Or am
know.
I thinking of someone else?
I'm about
think so.
92% sure that Ross Lyon played for. We got our. Do you want to do the fact checking on that one, champ?
He didn't play many games, I don't think, though,
Yeah,
did
he wasn't a huge. He wasn't a very good player. I don't think he certainly wasn't like. one
Oh,
of the best.
anyone that plays footy is a good player.
Well, sure,
But better
sure.
than us, but yeah, he wasn't...
Yes, that's fair to say.
like,
Fair to say that we don't have much.
he wasn't a gun.
Well, I don't know. Say that's the thing. I don't know much about his playing career, but I know he played for.
Wouldn't you say that a lot of
Fitzroy.
the coaches who were great players aren't necessarily the best coaches?
Played for Fitzroy and the Brizzy Bears.
There you go.
Yeah, so
It's true. I mean, besides Matthews, like, he was both.
Yep.
But a lot of coaches were, good old Sheets, dirty bloody back pocket plumber.
yeah.
The
Mick Malthouse.
the
Yeah.
best coaches are the dirty players. Maybe that's a good.
Could you quiz question? Do you know who the
Go ahead.
only the current AFL coach who did not play in the AFL?
Chris Fagan.
Oh, well, I didn't have time to hit the millionaire button.
Oh,
There you go.
sorry, I didn't
should have
realise
asked
that.
Champ because then we could have had some.
You
It's
wouldn't have a fucking
McQualter,
clue.
isn't it?
No, it is Chris Fagan.
Oh, yeah, it is too.
Reigning premiership coach.
Mm-hmm.
Played in the local Tassie State League,
Good
I
on him.
believe.
Good on him.
How about that?
So getting back to the contract situation, Ross Lyon, Brad Scott, who we have to say haven't had a lot of recent success as coaches, yet they have been extended.
Yeah,
So Champ, I know you have thoughts
Yeah.
about that. So what do you reckon?
They were both contracted to the end of next year, end of 26.
Yep.
And then one or two rounds into the season, they both get an extension
Yep.
to the end of 27. Why? Coaching extensions are fucking bullshit. It's a rort. It's a rort.
Yeah.
Like, because let's say we use Brad Scott as an example,
Yep.
right? He's extended to 27.
Yep.
Why? What benefit is there?
Bobby, can you answer that one?
So, you know, I think Refuse said it best when they said capitalism is indeed organised crime and we're all the victims, because, like,
Yeah.
it,
Big time,
like,
brother. Big time. I feel you.
it's
on
all
that one.
bullshit. It's, you know, so they can say that we have stability so that sponsors won't jump
Yeah.
off and all
Which
this
is nonsense.
fucking... Yeah, fucking oath
It's
it is.
nonsense.
It's all this, like, corporate wank, because, like, pretty much they'd write into these contracts to a set payout amount. Or for the poorer clubs, the AFL mandates a 6-month payout clause for coaches and coaching staff, because,
Yeah.
like, you know, a club could potentially maybe not bankrupt themselves, but, you know, if they sacked their coach and had to sack every
Well, they
single
could put
assistant-
themselves in pretty dire straits.
Yeah.
So they need like payouts because the only person who wins out of it is the coach, right? Brad Scott gets extended to 27.
Yep.
If he gets to the end of the year and you guys are in the bottom 3 or 4, the Jungle Drums will start beating, and him being extended another year doesn't bring you any more stability, because all that happens is when the drums beat loud enough, the president comes out on Tuesday and says he's got the full support of the board, and then 2 days later he's sacked.
Yeah.
Who's in
That's-
charge here?
That's happened a few times
And then
before.
he'll get like $1 million payout. He
Yep.
walks away with a buttload of money. The coach, the club's $1 million short, right? Just ends up, you know, they'll go to the members begging for a bit of cash, or going to the coterie begging for a bit of cash.
Membership
and
drive. and
It's
stuff.
just $1 million that gets disappeared from the club's bank account. It's
Yeah.
it's
Does sound a bit
fucking
silly
garbage.
when you put it like that, champ. You've got a good way
And, like,
with
if-
convincing.
There's
of
no
these
there's
things.
no point in extending a coach anyway, right? Because the only option is like, you know, the argument could be, oh, it'll stop anyone poaching him, right?
Okay.
But if he was any good, right, he wouldn't want to leave your club, because he would believe that the club is on the path to success anyway, right? And other clubs would see, oh, he's actually got this team on the way to success, so we'll poach him. But if you're halfway through getting him to where you wanted to get to, you wouldn't leave.
True.
see that.
I mean,
I see
good
that. Logic.
It's a rort.
Yeah.
good
Seems fair.
coaches build, like, good lists. Like, you know, she's bloody had, what, 4 or 5 probably different teams as such, like, throughout. And, you know, obviously coached for a long time, but, like, he, you know, had crap periods where he had to rebuild.
Well, speaking of
Right.
list management, this is our first season without the dodo hanging around like a bad
Isn't
smell.
he still pulling strings from behind the scenes?
I think he's all done now.
Nah, he's at Port Melbourne, apparently. He's,
because there was some weird shit going on at the end of
Right.
his
the
at
Port
end of his
Melbourne
tenure.
Bombers.
Like, I don't know what the deal was, but yeah, he was.
It seemed like he was
did-
pulling the
He didn't
strings.
have the same role, but he was still at the club. You reckon he was still pulling the strings?
Yeah,
I suppose
yeah,
that's, you know,
yeah.
yeah. You've
Yeah.
been somewhere for 30 years. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna have you're gonna have your heels dug in pretty severely.
Yeah, whoever replaced him was like the recruitment guru in name only.
Yeah, it was like a Dmitry Medvedev to Putin kind of
Yeah,
situation, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Or like a Tony and Junior kind
Yeah.
of thing like we were talking about
yeah,
before.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
or like a Ned and Peoples on the podcast. Yeah,
Salty in the champ. That's the vibe we've cultivated. It's just the fact that I'm in the driver's seat. You know, it's not really any sort of debate about it. But
Just a driver, mate.
this is the true
Just get a robot
tyrant
car.
of the season. Of the pod,
Mm.
yeah. So you reckon it was a bit of a hasty move then?
Yeah, I
when
mean-
you're in these contracts.
What possible motivation could there be to extend him other than like stability, which is horseshit anyway, right?
Yeah.
It just like might stop the media asking for like a month. But if you
Yeah.
keep losing games, they're just going to start asking again.
That's true,
Like the
yeah.
only stability it adds to is his bloody bank account,
Yeah,
and it comes at
probably was
at-
already pretty
at a
pretty
cost
stable.
that's borne by the supporters
Yeah,
ultimately.
Fucking hell.
I don't think it's rattled that many cages at Bomberland, but yeah, like it did seem a bit premature. Like wait
What's
and
it
see how this season turns out.
Has
This is his third
he
season.
taken you guys forward in any like quantifiable, measurable?
Well, you
know,
can't.
metric?
Like, you can't. That's
No.
the thing. You need time to do this. You need time to do it. This is his third season.
You don't know what's going on behind closed
Yeah,
doors
you
as
know.
well, and
No.
like
He
might have a
relationships with
5-year
players.
vision.
But you're not
etc.
measured on what's going on behind.
He might have a
closed doors. You're
5-year
measured
vision,
on what's going on the field.
and he's convinced he's convinced those decision makers at Essendon that it's potentially a successful vision for success.
Sure.
They've,
But if
they've
he's a better
obviously
coach
bought
than the
into
last
it.
coach, you would have seen some immediate little boost. Because if he's a
Well,
better
we
coach,
did-
then he'd do better with the list that you've got at the moment.
Every coach we've had has taken us to finals. That's That's the
True.
facts.
Rutten took us to finals.
But literally everyone. We've had finals under every coach, going back to Sheedy, of course, and then beyond. So that's the thing. Like Brad Scott's actually the first coach that hasn't yet taken us to finals. But with this new renewal, it looks like he's going to be the longest serving coach since Sheedy.
So is this his third season?
This is his third season.
So in the
he's,
2 seasons he's
now
been
locked in
there, he
for-
hasn't got you into finals.
And so what?
Yeah,
he
third
locked into
time
when?
lucky.
And the bloke
gonna
before
happen.
him, Rutten, how many years was he there for?
He was there for that's another debate, isn't it, Bob?
Ah, yeah, that was.
Because there was a year or two. Well, what season was it? Which there was
There
sort
was
of like
the year where
double coach.
like
Ah, that's right.
Wa-
yeah.
Woosha
Woosha
was
still there. Husa was still there.
head of coaching or some shit, and like Rutten
So there was the
you know,
classic succession
tactical
plan.
coach.
Classic succession.
That's right. I remember when they were doing that. There was a
Yeah.
couple of clubs who had like a director of coaching and then a head coach.
Yeah.
And we used to have our silly
disappeared.
arguments where I'd be a bit nuff and say, nah, Rutten shit, because it's his third year. And you
Yeah.
guys would be like, no, it's not, it's his second. I was like,
Yeah.
man, he was the coach.
But either
Coach
way,
for
he took
3
you to
years.
coaches quicker than Scott has. So he took you to finals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
it's not about finals. Like I read, I mean, it is.
It can't be.
obviously.
Yeah, it can't be.
But like,
This is what happens for 20 years of losing. You got
Yeah.
to justify it in whatever way you get. It's
Oh,
not
like-
actually about
Yeah.
finals.
will
It's
It's about the
Continuous
friends you
my
make along
point.
the way.
continuous
It's
improvement.
not about making finals. It's about winning grannies. Like, and I
Sure.
think
That's the
we've
ultimate,
like
yeah.
you know for 20 years we've screwed ourselves because we've like been obsessed with winning a final and just
Mediocrity.
yeah exactly. Like whereas like Scott's come in and been like, you guys are shit. Like
You'll
your
agree where
culture's
I should be in
shit.
September.
Like you're recruiting shit. You're like training shit, and like you think
It's all shit.
your shit don't stink, which is like how I'd describe probably the last 20 years of the Dons. And the theory is, like, I don't really agree with it because, like, you know, like, it's right. Extending is PR bullshit. Like, we don't need to do it. But I think they've gone, all right, Scott's had, like, 2 years to, you know, get rid of, like, the skeletons in the closet at Essendon.
Sure.
Like, Jackets is finally gone. Like,
He's just replaced him with like North Melbourne stuff, hasn't he?
yeah, pretty much. Which
yeah.
just
He's
in a
brought
way
in a few of
shows
the old
it's
crew.
still a
Yeah.
fucking
He's brought in a
boys
few of the
club.
old crew.
I mean, he brought in that Hawthorn bloke that's really David Rath. That's really
Yep.
renowned as like a kicking kind of tactical guru.
Is he looking after Draper, is he?
No, he's looking after my other boy,
that's what I
Sardis, who has very
That's
uh,
who's your other
poor
boy?
kicking.
Who's your other boy?
Sardis.
Sardis. Yeah,
And
that's
of course, Braden Ham. Shout out to Braden if you're
Shout out.
watching.
Where's
If
he at
you're
these days? What's he
beautiful.
doing? Who's he playing with?
No, he's not. Apparently, he
I mean,
lost
yeah.
his-
Well,
lost
he's
his-
playing with a country.
No, he lost his love for footy, I think.
Oh, is that
I saw- yeah.
What a shame! What a shame for Braden.
No, it's all right. There's more to life than footy.
Well, true, but I mean, I thought he probably would have. Well, what caused him to? Was he?
I
Do you reckon
can't
he was?
Remember, I
Probably played
don't even
for Essendon
think
for a
I've
long
read.
time.
Yeah, well, I would
The
have given you
article.
that. I would have given
Yeah.
you that. Yeah, he
I
probably
just
was
saw a
disillusioned
headline.
from how things went.
Correct.
But yeah, we brought it up a moment ago. Draper. That's another thing we needed to discuss. Now he's caused a bit of a stir.
He's 6 and zip from set shots.
well,
Well, actually, he's 6-1, and the only one he's missed is the one that he kicked as a drop punt.
There you go. So I suppose he's from the snap. He's yet to miss. Is that right?
yes, that's true.
So we're talking about Draper having snaps on goal from easy set shots. Now, I think probably the older footy going public, maybe those
Just kick it.
40 and up, maybe 30 and up. I suppose we're in that bracket. Are not super thrilled, and that's probably where most of the groans are coming from when we see that when we hear that when he's setting up. But then he's got people that love him as well. He's got people that love him.
The
Love what he's
first
doing.
probably 1 or 2 like snaps he did like that were genuine, like, oh god, groans, what's he doing?
Yep.
And then once he got him, the fans, even the Nuff fans that groaned, were like, all right, well, hey, if it works,
Yeah.
good on you. Like,
But weren't they
proof-
like
the proof
pretty
is in the
easy
pudding, isn't it?
shots?
Well, that's the
yeah,
whole
I
point.
think the first kind of couple were, but then he nailed one round the corner from like 35-40 on an angle that was like actually pretty decent.
Yep.
Is he a
and,
right
you
footer
know,
or left footer?
Right footer, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, what does he do if he's kicking from like the right pocket?
I'm
you'd
I'm
be-
hoping
you'd
he's
It's
practicing.
just
them.
like
It'd be
it's
too tight
the
an angle.
Stevie J
Yeah.
technique that everyone copied, basically. And like the theory is, like if you're a shit kick, you're kicking. I have a giant hands. This is not a miniature football, just so everyone watching. You like kick the footy with the most part of it, as opposed to kicking it like that. That's your target zone, and you're kicking around the corner, like the bottom of the football.
Yeah.
And being an ex-soccer player, he would have kicked like that. They basically kind of throw the
Yeah,
ball
he was-
up and kick it and boot the crap out of
Forget
it.
about his soccer background.
Yeah, he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah, yeah.
He's he's got potential. He
Yep.
still only has played football for 12, 13, 14, whatever years.
Yep.
Hopefully he plays into his 30s and
Yeah. How old's Draper now? Mid-20s?
he's hitting free
26,
agency, so he'd
27.
have to be like 26, 27, maybe 28, I don't know.
Yeah, he's getting on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so well, it's a bit entertaining, isn't it? We like to call him the main character. That's certainly how
Yeah.
he presents himself. And if anyone was to do those sorts of shenanigans, anyone was trying to pull that, you would imagine it would be Draper. Mm-hmm. What do you reckon about him?
I love Sam Draper. I think he's a great main character. I
Yep.
also wouldn't be that upset if they traded him away for good, for something good in return, because he could probably, especially if he does start kicking straight all year long, that they could probably get a bit for him. Other clubs would want that kind of X factor that he brings.
Yeah.
And
If we can get some
Brian's
quality
looking
stuff.
He's a star.
Good
He's
too.
a star. Yeah.
Well, Nick Bryan, he
Yep.
looks like a good ruck.
It would also, I have merch of Orazio Fantasia and Joe Danaher as well, and I also
okay.
have a Sam Draper T-shirt, so it would make sense.
You got to stop
that-
buying these
Yeah.
players' merch.
Maybe you
He's got,
curse
he's got
him.
the Midas touch, doesn't he?
Yeah,
You're a jinx.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm suggesting. Yeah.
While we're on the subject of Essendon on field, we have to point out that we have now won a game.
See the Bombers fly up to win the Premiership flag.
That's it. That's the song. We like to celebrate the wins. You have to celebrate the wins. I mean,
You do.
you get depressed when you don't see any wins. In the first couple of games of the season, that was certainly how I was feeling. We get pumped up over summer and we'll wait for footy to come back, and it's finally back, and we're ready to watch the boys. And then they serve up a couple of. Well, to be honest, the first game wasn't, other than the first quarter. Wasn't
Yeah, that was
bad.
still shit though.
But it was
like
very hard to watch.
that bloody.
Who was that against?
I was like,
Oh,
Mate.
Hawthorn.
Mate. He pays less than zero attention. Less than zero.
the
attention
Adelaide
to his,
game
to
was
his
very
Hawkies.
painful though. Like you're right, that
Is
was
that when you
just
got dacked by like 25 goals?
no. It was
25
well,
goals.
it was a weird one. So we left. I lied to a
25
couple
goals.
of old blokes on the way out. That was like, they're like, "Oh, you're not leaving, are you?" And I was like, "Totally leaving," but I was like, I want to break their poor nuffy hearts. I was
Did
like,
you get
"Oh
massively
no, mate,
pumped, though?
just go in the bar."
We only lost to
Yeah.
Adelaide by
10 goal.
Was it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was-
Yeah, the last
Oh.
quarter was woeful.
Little less than 12.
When I was walking
was
out,
it that
5.
they kicked 25 against you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
kicked 25, but
Yeah, they
we
kicked
can't
20.
defend and haven't been able to for a very long time.
dysfunctional.
Yeah, Essendon
dysfunctional
still-
backline.
kicked over 100 points. It was a high scoring
Mm.
game, but yeah, still
Yeah.
lost by 10 goals. When I was walking out, I accidentally dropped my scarf on the ground, and someone stopped me and said, "Did you mean to drop that?" I'm like, "No, thank you." Yeah.
It was one of those, hey, buddy, you dropped this, knowing that you did it intentionally, making you take it back.
I saw
So
a
they saw a disgraceful act.
Melbourne scarf. Remember before Melbourne got the flag and they were just awful? They would always, look really promising and just disappoint. I saw a Melbourne scarf in. I can't remember if it was members or one of the toilets, like at a bar around the city, just thrown
Disgusting.
in a disgusting place. And yeah,
They went through it. They had a very
They did.
troubled period. Yeah.
but things change,
They did. They got a
They got a
premiership. a few
flag.
years
So
ago.
the
Yeah.
doggies,
Same with them. Everyone's had their little taste, haven't they?
Except for you guys.
Saints,
Just
Saints
wait.
and Freo and us.
Yeah. Yeah, so first win of the season, it was against Port, who not necessarily a bad club. They made it through to the end of September last year. And it's Hinckley, speaking of coaches, it's Hinckley's last year. So who knows? Maybe what happens to a playing group when they know that this is the last year of their coach and it's not going to sort of cause the that usual sort of speculation and consternation that coaching changes tend to bring. This seems to be a little bit more of a stable situation over there in Port Adelaide. How do you think they're handling that, the Port Boys?
Stable until they're like, bottom three and they start doing their bloody sack Hinkley signs and crap again. But I suppose maybe
Never tear
that's
us apart, except when it does.
Yeah, maybe that's their point though, where they're like, well, look, we can't sack him anyway because he's leaving. Just we're finally getting rid of him. But I don't know. Port fans are pretty enough though. Like, I can understand the frustration they haven't won a flag, but like their list isn't like it's decent, but it's not like amazing. Like Hinkley may not have gotten a flag, but like made finals. Don't know exactly, but at a guess, 7 out of the last 10 years.
They seem to be playing finals pretty regularly.
Yeah, and like it's not like I don't look at their list and go like that's like they should be winning multiple flags. It's like all right, but it's not like that shit hot.
Yeah. Oh well. So it's a pretty average club then. Pretty average group.
Nah, I'd say like above average, but it's like a lot of teams. Like if you have, like the momentum and the energies and a good injury run and like bit of luck with like who you play in finals, like anyone can kind of get a flag.
True. Just need to time your roll, don't you?
Unless you're Essendon.
There he goes again.
Hey, Carlton have had a longer flag drought than us.
That's true, and that's something we can comfort ourselves with every single time. Well, I guess we can pivot to what seems to be a much more successful situation over there in Hawthorn.
Hockland.
They
Poos and
now
wees.
they're currently 4-0, but that's a
Poo
little
and
bit
wee.
that's a little bit misleading because they have
Well,
had
it's
the
not
extra
because
game.
they won 4 games. And they lost 0, so it's not
they've won
misleading
4
at all.
games where everyone
It's a
else has
factual
only played
statement.
3 games.
Mathematics.
So yeah.
Mathematics.
Mathematics,
Opening
yes.
round is bullshit though.
Well, this is
I
the
think
thing.
we
It
all
fucks
agree on
everything up,
that.
doesn't it? It fucks up the interpretation of the leaderboard.
Doesn't mean that
so we got
4 is not 4.
No, 4 is 4. I'll give you
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
everyone else has had 3. Would you say it's fair to give your 4 kids 3 meals and one of them 4
Well,
meals?
if one of them shit, then yeah.
Wonder who that was. Might have been you. Might have talked about your situation back in the day. The 4 Ericsson boys.
The people's, mate.
Only Dave's the only one that doesn't get dessert. How would that make you feel?
I'm not a really dessert man.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Despite
Don't you
munching
have
on
a
the
sweet
Allens all
tooth?
day. Munches on the Allens
Don't
and
you
says
have
he
a
doesn't like
sweet
dessert.
tooth?
Yeah.
He stuffed it up.
Oh,
I've
no.
lost a...
What have you done?
I'm going to be the first guest to get a
We,
drink.
we haven't. Yeah, I can hear.
Oh, it must be my headphone.
Just
Can you not
twiddle
hear
with
us?
the thingy.
Yeah.
Might be a chance to
Oh,
bring
there we go.
old
It's
bring
back,
the old
it's back. What was the
Looney,
question again?
the technical difficulties. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
We
no,
can
I'd do it because I want to
We
get
can
a
push
drink.
through. We can push through. Say what?
What was the question again?
Well, I was just talking about Hawthorn's undefeated run, which is 4-0, but they've had an extra chance to win when only
But they're
most
still
clubs
undefeated.
Okay. Well, the
They
thing
still
is, they
play
might,
not sure where we're going
23
with this.
games
they
like
might get to
everyone else.
They might get to 5-0, right? They get another win. I'm not sure who they've got next, but yeah, it's pretty likely they're going to win. And that would be the complete inverse of the situation they were in last year, of course, when they started 0-5.
Yeah.
So I guess what we're all thinking is let's have a complete inverse. I would love to see Hawthorn completely shit the bed after starting the season 5 wins, 0 losses.
It would be nice.
Completely fade away for the rest of the season. Do you reckon that's a chance?
I mean, anything's a chance. I think it's unlikely because they seem to be
classically studied
continuing
probability.
but they're continuing a pattern that they started midway through last year.
Yeah,
Is that they're
but all good things must come to an end.
yes, eventually, like maybe in 5 or 6 years, but you know they're quite early in their journey.
Wishful thinking.
You know they're very early in their journey, so yeah, I'm sure they'll
Who
have
knows?
dips
They might be
because
late.
they're a young team.
It might not be a very extensive journey. You can't say for
Maybe,
certain that they're at the start
but
of their
that
journey.
seems unlikely.
They could be at the end of their journey.
It seems unlikely.
Maybe
Winning
we'll have to
club,
wait and see.
winning culture.
Winning
you know,
club, winning
something
club,
you
winning
guys
culture.
don't really have. I mean, you might have had 30 years ago, but now you just, as we've established many times, just mediocre and deeply amateur.
See, there he goes again.
And yeah, bloody recruitment. I hate it. Like, I was pretty bloody salty walking back from the Hawthorn game.
Yep.
Where we were just like, It's like I hate them because they're like,
Me too. I
Didn't
do.
we get to some Essendon reject?
yeah,
kids now
yeah.
really good?
But like your recruitment for like
Yeah, he's
the
all
last,
Australian now.
you know,
Is he?
15, 20
What a
years
fuck up that was.
has been, you know, great. And Essendon's had drafted good players.
But
Like,
also, you've got to
but-
get the guys, and you've got to make them good players.
yeah, yeah.
Like I always said, like if Jack Watts had gone to like a decent club, he might have turned out to be a good player. But when you go to a club like Melbourne, where
Come off it.
who was he? Who was like the number one guy there? Colin Sylvia, who's just like a
Yeah.
fucking party animal.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what Watts learnt from. And when this is
RIP,
not really a
by the
piss
way.
take, but when you're a young guy who's drafted by Essendon,
Yep.
and there's no one who's like particularly successful there, then
Yep.
you know. What standard can you get raised to? Like if the, you know,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's certainly a risk when a poor club recruits a bit of top talent. Like, there's always a risk that they're gonna
yeah, because you've got to
fuck their
convert them.
development. Yeah,
They don't come,
yeah.
you know, ready baked.
That's
Best
true.
believe Harley Reid's
Some
going to be
do
playing in Melbourne
these
next.
days, though.
Yeah, yeah, seems
Like-
that way.
You know, not many, but like Judd's first season, Selwood's first season was decent.
Yep.
Dacos's was good.
Yep.
Reed did a couple of nice things, but didn't have that great a first season, really.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like it can be done. Kako's going to
Sure
kick
can.
bloody 35
He looks
goals
like
this year.
he looks like he's got a bit of X factor about him, doesn't he?
Yeah, bloody oath. He gives us hope.
Yes.
Him and Cads.
That's,
Kako or
Yep.
whatever Brad called it.
And a bit of bad news out of Bomberland today with Tommy Edwards
Yeah,
doing
that
his
fucking
ACL.
sucks.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, jeez.
Got to give him another year. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can't. He's bloody, you know, just, yeah.
Quit his
So,
job. Quit his job to be able to go be
Yeah.
on the list.
He's all in. He's all in on the club. So you got to do right by him, don't you?
Yeah, bloody oath.
Yep.
Plus, it's good for your culture and morale and shit to do
Yes.
it. Because, you know,
We'll look
imagine,
after
like,
you.
the
You want to be
team.
looked after. You want to
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
looked after. It's great. It's great. It's a great feeling knowing that you are being looked after. Do you feel like you're looked after here?
Here,
Yeah.
I think there's been some issues with
You got pizza.
But-
He gets
bullying
his
and things
pizza.
a
He
while
gets the
ago. Drinks.
comfiest chair in the
Yeah.
It's true.
studio.
I'm trying
I
to
get made to
I
do
gave-
things
I
I
gave
don't really
you
want to
a,
do.
Totally
I gave
on
you a
this.
Coke Zero.
Also, you didn't give me this chair. The people gave me this chair.
I gave you that
It's a
chair.
people's throne. Just remember that.
That chair
Sounds like
is from
something
my,
a communist leader would say.
That chair is my chair. This chair is your chair. No, it's you can't argue the fact that you are looked after here, Dave. I do. I said before, you know, I take care of my people. You got to take care of the people.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean, I
I've-
get manipulated to doing things I don't like to do occasionally.
Well, I think if you're talking about Champs Hollywood Catch Up, we
Yeah,
need to put
and a
another
few
one of
other
those
things.
together because
Yeah.
people love the Champs Hollywood
Yeah,
Catch Up.
people
To see that.
And you're trying to wriggle out of doing
I
any
did.
more of them.
I did
so
like that. I am 2
Everyone loved
episodes
it, yeah.
behind. Full disclosure.
That's okay. We
But-
can look
Do
at
it
again,
another
Dave.
view.
No.
Yeah, no, we
But,
will. We will.
yeah,
there's
I'd
some
be
more.
down
There's
for
some
that.
more news coming out of Hollywood, so I'm pretty sure you'll be able to catch up on that and give us the catch up.
Or is
So-
it time for the confront?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez.
The old guest here is directing shit. That's all right.
He's
I don't
doing
mind
a
it.
move
I
on.
don't mind it. Yeah. I think we can. We've kind of
That was
buzzed some of
loud.
these footy topics, and we do have some time for the last part of this episode. We've actually been going for a little while already. A confront mini. Are you cool to be confronted again? I know you.
Sure.
Sometimes you're a little bit
Sure.
apprehensive about it, but
Um,
because some of these confronts tend
Yeah.
to get under your skin.
some of them are
or
confronting. I mean, the last one.
Some of them make you keep the nightlight
the
on
last one wasn't
overnight.
really that confronting. I can't remember what it was, but it was just more. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, bring it on. Bring it on.
It was either.
That was Big Chugs, and the
It was just boring more than
well,
anything.
the problem is you have to watch the whole thing.
Topo
For-
Chico or the
the shorts
Antipode.
the shorts don't give it do it justice. I think in order to be truly confronted by Big Chugs, you need to watch him
Yeah, that's
properly chug.
after the
When you watch him do 15 straight
yeah,
Dr Peppers
yeah.
in 5 minutes, you're like,
I checked it out
that's
because Tommy
confronting.
was talking up the
Yeah.
confronting nature of it. And no, we didn't have enough time to watch the whole thing on the pod, but yeah, I did check out the Dr Pepper one, and yeah, it's like he's doing double barrels, and then like belching out the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
like yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
So,
Mate of
yeah,
mine once
we had
live
the-
streamed himself doing a slab of Canadian clubs from Eltham to Queenscliff.
Oh really?
He got to about
How'd he get
15
through?
and had to pull over just after Geelong and spew up.
Oh yeah, that's
He got back on it.
Is
Wait, he was
disgusting.
driving.
No, he wasn't
Oh, I was
driving.
going to say, bloody hell.
No, he was a passenger.
Dave's
Oh,
throwing him
thank
under the
God.
bus there. No, he's a passenger.
Yeah, it's like, he's a country lad. He had to drive
Well, yeah, you
bloody-
can't-
He was actually, yeah.
You can't
Shit.
rule it out if they're out there in the country. There's
Yeah.
nothing else to do except for drink drive.
Pardon me?
So we got a confront lined up, and Buttons. When I give you the cue, I'll get you to switch us around, but not just yet. So let me find it. Dave, are you how do you feel about goats?
Goats.
Goats.
As in greatest of all time, goats or goats the animals?
Oh, both.
both.
All right.
Yeah.
I've never met a goat,
No.
like
Really?
an animal. No.
Really,
No.
you've never seen a
Never
goat.
seen-
You've
never-
No,
seen a
not
goat,
a
no.
lot of live goat. I mean, maybe when I was a little kid at like a children's farm or something, but no, I've
You've
never
never
actually
patted a
seen
goat?
No. I don't
Have you
think they're not really
eaten
patted
goat?
animals.
Had a goat curry?
I have eaten goat. Yeah.
Well, a goat's lamb, basically, isn't it?
No, it's a goat.
Well,
Definitely tastes different.
Yeah.
but it's pretty similar. I mean, gee.
To lamb? No, I wouldn't think so.
No.
I think you can easily tell the difference.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough. Well, maybe I'm pretty sure I've had some goat curry in my time, but
A little
They
richer.
probably
Richer.
sold you lamb, said it was goat.
so
Like
this
this white guy, don't know.
this
probably
one,
sold you
You
mutton.
can oregano.
Tom, you can go ahead and switch us over now. And
What is going on here?
yeah, well, this is called an Altai sheep.
Gonna be a
Has that
weird.
switched over? These
So here's our Altai sheep. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And it's called the. Well, maybe I should just play it and then because that
see what happens.
I don't want to detract anything from the video. You ready for it?
Yeah, I suppose.
All right. You'll enjoy. I think you'll enjoy this actually.
Have you ever seen the Altai bigtail sheep, known as the Kardashian of sheep? With its plump, bouncy, and soft backside, it's truly remarkable to the touch. This sheep is famous for having the largest butt among all sheep. But in reality, that enormous backside is its tail. The tail stores large amounts of fat, which helps the sheep survive harsh winters. A survival mechanism similar to that of camels. Altai bigtail sheep are renowned for their tender, mild-tasting meat and primarily thrive in the Altai region of Xinjiang, China. Male sheep can weigh over 170 pounds, while females exceed 120 pounds. The tail alone can weigh around 20 pounds. The exceptional tenderness of
20-pound
their
bum.
meat is no coincidence. Every year, these sheep migrate over 500 miles, 800 kilometers, between the Yungar Basin and the Altai Mountains. This constant movement ensures their muscles stay lean and firm, resulting in premium quality meat. This unique survival strategy, combined with their high quality meat, makes the Altai bigtail sheep an extraordinary and iconic breed. Have you ever seen the
There you go. The Altai sheep,
Right.
the big butt.
Right.
Thoughts?
What dirty bastard bred that animal, right? Because
Look at
pretty
that
much
big butt of yours.
all domestic animals now have been bred over years and
Sure.
years and years
Yeah,
and
yeah,
years
yeah.
and years to have particular
Natural selection,
characteristics, right?
artificial selection, right?
Yeah. Now, who's the dirty pervert that bred that, right? Because if they wanted
Some dude
like an
living in
animal
Altai,
with,
Altai,
you know,
China.
Is it real? Maybe it's AI. Maybe it doesn't exist.
That's
no,
I've
that'd
never
be real.
heard
That'd
of
be
that
real.
meat on a menu in a Chinese restaurant.
yeah.
If it is a real thing,
Well, it's
why
real.
is that not something?
That's
That,
real.
I
That's as real as it
believe
gets.
it. I mean, I think it's disgusting, personally.
You're disgusted by that shit.
Yeah.
it's interesting from evolution, though. Like, if that's real, then
Yeah.
that doesn't seem like an actual evolved thing. That
No, because
walking
it's been bred over generations by farmers.
No,
to,
but
to
that-
have certain
that
characteristics.
thing said they have bloody a big ass because of all the walking as well, which doesn't make sense because
So
they would have.
They said that it's the tail. It's actually the tail of the animal.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so what? They were bred for the tail, obviously, for the big ass. by
Yeah, they've got the
weirdos.
ones
if
with
it's
the,
real and
the
it's
big
not
butts and bred
AI.
them with the other ones with big butts, and the
Um,
butts get bigger and bigger and bigger.
They got to
And
get
then
the biggest
next minute,
butt,
I'm getting confronted by it.
the big butt boy and the big butt girl, and they put
Yeah.
them together,
Yeah.
and they make a
Yeah.
big butt,
Yeah.
big butt baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. It's cool seeing this kind of weird shit.
Oh, I think it's perverted.
There's a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Especially when you see them sort of jiggling the bums.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
have to do that.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
You old slag.
There's obviously a big community of like goat fuckers somewhere who have bred these things. I think it's disgusting.
Keep them away from New Zealand and Tasmania.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
Sheep will get real jealous.
That's a bit of a fun one, I think. One of the more fun confronts, if you ask me.
That's one of the
Yeah.
more disgusting as well.
I'm a bit worried about next episode's
Have
confront.
you, Bobby? Have you got a favourite confront from episodes of Christmas Past?
I can't remember it. I did really like the Hollywood Dave segment. We should do that again.
Yeah. Well, that
I think.
wasn't a confront, but that seems to be the most confronting.
Some of the
thing he's
confronts I was a
experienced
bit like.
yet. Did you like the balloon one? Did you watch the balloon one?
What was the balloon one again?
The community of what they call lunars.
Yeah,
who
these
get
guys
sort
are
of
like sexually attracted to balloons.
Oh yeah. So that just like
That was a bit confronting.
Oh wait, didn't they claim it was like platonic?
Well, I think there was some sort of contradiction in there because at one point he said that it's romantic love, but then he
Yeah.
also feels like they're his children.
Yeah,
So that's very,
yeah.
very, very concerning behavior. Did you watch the Jake Novak one? Are you a fan of Jake? Novak?
Yeah. That was the early.
Yeah, that was our first confront.
Yeah,
One-
so
one
I have
of
a
them.
threshold with that stuff where
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Too cringy.
yeah, it's more just my attention span. Like I'm just like, oh yeah,
You can't watch a minute
this
and a half
is-
video.
But he
Well,
could watch
not an
45
annoying
minutes of
one.
this dribble.
like,
Yeah, well, that's the
It's,
point. That's the point. It's hard to get through that sort of stuff.
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
but it's too annoying, and I'm just like, nah.
Yeah.
This is, the
no,
fact that you are
literally,
giving it
obviously,
time because it's annoying in some sense of irony
Yeah.
is just making people like more famous and
Yeah.
get more clicks. If more people had like enough, I don't know if restraint's the word or like, patience just to go like, nah, fuck it. But it's his curiosity,
Yeah.
like that gets you.
Exactly. It's
And
it's,
it's like-
it's curious behavior.
Sometimes I just like to go, nah, that's ridiculous. I don't want to know. Like, I'll,
leave me be, please.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes, isn't it?
it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that note, maybe we'll call this episode a night.
I think so.
Because we'll try and keep them a bit tighter going forward,
Yep.
maybe. But
tight like one of those goat butts.
Very good.
I might watch that video again later on, just to check it out again.
Disgusting.
Oh, I don't mind it. Wonderful. It's been a good night. I mean, we're going to stick around here and do some more.
Yeah.
But we'll sign off for tonight's episode.
We will.
It's been fun.
Hey, Bobby, are you gonna stick around for?
I reckon I got another quick one in me.
Grace us with his presence continually. We do
I
have
mean,
more to.
like,
We do have more to
I can
speak to
do
you
another.
about.
Yeah, no, I reckon we can get through our secret agenda.
No, it's actually kind of cool when the guest
it's,
teasers maybe not staying around.
Yeah. I was
it's
contemplating being the first guest to get up and get a
fuck
drink. Like I was just like, I reckon I could sneak out there.
Yeah, you probably
and just
could.
like be the first guest to very subtly.
You can walk through all the different cameras and really confuse everybody watching, all 3 or 4 of them. But no, we got more to talk about. I want to talk about how you stay informed. In the next episode, we're going to talk about how you manage to be such an educated footy person, because you are. If you don't mind me saying, you seem to have this kind of wealth of knowledge about the league. The league at large, like not just the club, not just our club, not just our favourite players, but you seem to know what's going on across the league. So that's what I want to talk about next time with you, Bulbo.
We'll see you then.
Yeah.
Cool. Champo, you've had a good one.
I have.
A return to
Been good.
form.
Yep.
And Buttons, we'll get you in the edit. You can see that we're not cutting to Buttons, but you probably wouldn't tell that because I'm going to edit him in. But yeah, you're doing.
Don't
doing
give
well
away
over
your
there.
secrets.
Just broken the fourth
Buttons
wall.
is there. You have 4 cameras.
That's true. No,
He's here. Well, I suppose when we're filming, he's here.
He's good. All right. Well,
I am here.
That's true.
he's there. We'll sign off now, and we'll see everybody again next week. For round 6. We're getting stuck into the season already, aren't we? All
Where
right.
does the bloody time go? Bloody
Who
Easter
knows?
before you know it, man.
That's true. Well, we'll sign off and catch you again next week. So, bye.
Good night.
That's the sound of the police.
Can the bombers see the bombers fire?
Thank you for tuning in today, and thanks to each of you for being a member of the Hot Uppers community. You can contact the podcast at saltyandthechamp@gmail.com. Salty was dressed by Kmart. Champ was dressed by Gasman. That is it for now. Don't forget to tune in again next time. I love you, goodbye.